Hi everybody, I'm Rob from flx.bike. If you're anything like me, when you were just a kid riding bikes, there was that one kid in your neighborhood that could do perfect wheelies, but you just couldn't do them right. That was me. Now that I'm an adult, I'm gonna spend a little bit of time trying to practice wheelies, but not on a normal bicycle, on an e-bike. So that's what I'm riding now. On an e-bike, it's a little bit more challenging because you've got a battery and a motor, both of which add extra weight, especially in the front of the bike, which you're trying to lift up. But there is one advantage: you do have motor power that you can use to help you get it up. So the first thing you're gonna want is a big open space to try this out. Make sure you've got lots of space, best in a parking lot or somewhere where there's no people. I've got a road here with, barely any traffic, so I'll go between any cars there are. And then what you're gonna wanna do is check over your bike, give it a good once over before you do this, or else you could get in some trouble. So super important, especially if you've got quick release on your front wheel, is to check that, make sure it's in tight, because if it's loose and you pull the wheel up for a wheelie and that wheel falls off, you're gonna get a mouthful of concrete, and that's no fun. So we'll make sure this is in here tight. Next thing is your seat height. So because what you're gonna do is try and find a balance point with the front wheel up, the higher your seat is, the easier it is to get your center of gravity back. So I'm gonna put the seat as high as I can comfortably put it and still touch the ground with my feet. For me, it's about right here. The next thing you gotta do is choose an appropriate gear. On this bike, we've got a 36 tooth chainring up front and an 11 to 34 tooth cassette in the back. So what I'm gonna do is choose the lowest gear. I'll start there, and if that's too low, I can go a little bit higher. So we're just gonna change that here real quick. Get it going. It's the cool thing about an e-bike is you can change the gears without having to do it manually. So the last thing you want to check, just go over your bike, make sure brakes are tight, make sure your handlebars aren't gonna come off or anything like that, and we'll just go for it, okay? So first thing we're gonna do is wheelies with no power, so you can get a hang of the technique and everything. And then it's actually a little bit more challenging to do it with power, but requires less muscle. So what I'm gonna do, I'm in speed pedal assist 5. I'm just gonna turn that down to 0 so I can still see the display, see what speed I'm going, but have no power from the motor. So if you're having trouble finding a balance point or getting the front wheel up enough, one thing you can try is, make sure you're ready for it physically, but kicking the bike all the way over. So a lot of people, it's easy to get it up a little bit, but where it actually balances is pretty high up. So what happens if you kick it all the way over? All you've got to do is put your feet down and you can just walk it out if you kick it all the way over. So obviously you want to be doing that at a low speed, so you're slow enough to catch yourself, and be very careful, very responsible when you're doing this. So I'm gonna kick it over now a couple of times and see if I can find that balance point to where it just barely is about to roll back, but it doesn't, and that way we can maintain a wheelie for a little bit longer. So that's it. Try that a couple more times, get used to that feeling. So Neno, our videographer, is now going for a ride. He wants to get in on the fun. Yeah. So it's important to know what kind of motor you've got here. If you've got a mid motor, a hub motor, speed sensor, a torque sensor. This is a mid motor, and it's torque sensing. So it senses how hard I'm pressing on the pedals, and then it's gonna give me an equivalent amount of power back from the motor. So while I'm trying to get balanced and lined up for this wheelie, I'm gonna press so gently on the pedals that the motor's not gonna kick off and give me speed before I want it. So press really gently on the pedals, and then when I'm ready to go, just go for it. And hopefully that motor is gonna kick off at the same time as my human power, and we'll be able to make an even better wheelie. So let's try this out. Alright, so that's it. Just a basic introductory to wheelies. Obviously you gotta practice those a lot. I need a lot of practice. As far as keeping the balance, that's something that just takes a lot of practice. When I first started, I couldn't even swing it up, you know, to the balance point. Now I can get there, but I can't keep it balanced, so I'm gonna keep working on that. Hopefully send another video when I can hold them for miles and miles. So we'll see at that point. But good luck, enjoy the wheelies, guys, and if you have any other questions about bikes, e-bikes, just comment below and we'll try and make a video about it.